Oops, I left my coffee cup outside. I'll have to go out and get it. It's pretty full of coffee. I bought some flowers yesterday, some pretty wave petunias. And this picture didn't turn out very well. A columbine. My sweet, but whoa. I hadn't said anything much this morning. My voice had a frog in it. My sweet potatoes survived their first night outdoors. Well, they're just on the porch. It was supposed to get down to 44 last night, but it didn't get below 50, so we're good. I covered them up, thinking it was going to get a little colder than they wanted, but I uncovered them first thing this morning, and they're doing fine. So I think I'm going to put them out where they get out there somewhere, because sweet potatoes like the heat, and that area has sun all day. Well, let me show you what I did yesterday and what I plan to do today. Drinking my morning coffee. I planted some flower seeds down here last week, and it looks like they're sprouting. That's a good thing. Yesterday I planted, I think those are zinnias that I planted there. I didn't have them labeled. The cucumbers here are doing fine, but the ones over here, I was going to say I had one left, but I don't even have any left. I think they got eaten by something, but I planted, they were starts. So what I did, I planted some seeds there, so hopefully they come up. My new mulberry tree looks like it's struggling. I think we've had a lot of rain, and I don't know. I'm hoping it pulls through. I planted a bunch of beans around the base of this trellis right here. And I decided, oh, that smells good. These petunias have a good smell to them. Okay, so I had planted the bubblegum ones, last week before? Anyway, I added to the petunias by planting some. These are wave petunias, and I forget the name of the color. This thing at the other end is planted the same too, except doesn't have the poppy in the middle. That poppy, I don't know where. I don't recall having planted it, but it's there. The new thing that I planted here, I planted a columbine. That's such a pretty color. I love that color. Purple and white, yellow. So this area should be beautiful year after year, because these are all perennials. Plant seeds of happiness, kindness, and love. These alliums, they were so pretty when they bloomed, but they're even, I don't know, I'm not going to say they're prettier, but they have their own very distinct prettiness when they kind of try to quit blooming. I mean, when the bloom kind of fades away, it's still very pretty. Any time now, these lilies are going to be blooming. And I still have to get in here and get rid of all this grass. I hate this grass. Oh, my chives are blooming back there. If you can see them. And this is a good example of the two stages of these alliums. That one's still in bloom, and this one is done blooming, but it's very pretty. My What's This app, or whatever it's called, picture this, tells me that that's a hollyhock, but it's been here. This is the 3rd year. It has never set up any blooms or anything. So I don't know what it is, but it's bigger this year than it ever was. Still more grass to pull. I need to plant more things I have something in the top, but I haven't planted anything in the rest of the tower. Looks like my new well, I knew the name of it until I went to say it. Coral Bell, but that's not the real name of it. It's trying to bloom anyway. And I have a comfrey right next to it. I need to figure out how to get more comfrey. Oh, that's a pretty iris. I've been trying to work at getting rid of this Canadian thistle. Got some of it out. It grows back because I can't get the roots. Oh, here's the other. Now there is, I don't remember the name of the plant that's in the middle there. It looks a little bit like a Cosmo, but I don't think I planted a Cosmo in there. But here's the other wave petunia. I think I need to move my cactus to something bigger. This amazes me because I just leave it out here all winter, not protected or anything, and it seems to love it. I'll have to wear nice thick gloves when I move it to something bigger though. I'll get around to it. Been waiting for my garlic to start setting up scapes. I haven't seen any yet. Some cars are loud when they go past. And I was going to trim that rose. It's a wild rose. And I never got around to trimming it. It's kind of getting too big. But it has pretty little pinkish white flowers on it when it blooms. This is my yellow iris. It's looking good this year. Most of my irises are that deep purple. So this one, let me get out of it so I don't have the shade there. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I was wondering if the Jerusalem artichoke that I had planted here was going to come up. Not only has it come up, but there's a stray one on the other side of the fence. I will have to see if I can move that. So as you can see, I have lots of grass to pull. I was thinking the iris here was yellow also, but it hasn't bloomed yet. So, and I thought there was one in the corner, but I don't. All I see is the grass that needs to be pulled. Well, over here, the stuff I planted over by the fence is surviving. I've planted tomatoes here twice now, and they're gone. And I forget what that was. Right there, it's alive, but not standing up straight. This came up on its own. It looks like it might be a squash of some kind. Am I showing it to you? Yeah, I am. Potatoes in my pot are doing great. That tomato disappeared too. I'll plant something else in there. And the things along the fence are doing okay. And the corn is, part of it's doing okay. Onions are doing okay. I think this might be a borage. I don't know. Maybe. It's not fuzzy. There's two of them. I'm not sure what it is. Pepper's growing. Tomatoes are kaput. Onions are coming up. And hubby didn't put the sprinkler back out on the lawn. Now the tomatoes over here are still alive. So this bed's doing the best of any. This little stand of irises has grown. It's more, there are more this year than ever. And oodles of daisies here. And then these. My lemon balm is exploding. So is the mint. And I have one of those yellow, pink flowers that I don't remember the name of coming up right there. That will probably multiply over the years too. Because I have kind of a bare spot in the middle there. Another bunch of irises next to my the flowers that the little birds like. Hummingbirds. Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle. I knew I'd come up with the name. And nothing so far in that planter. As you can tell, I picked the rhubarb. It'll flush back. The thing that I put in the planter is another one of these. This is going to bloom before too long. My kales have all, and brassica type things have all gone to bloom. And as you can see, I've got a good day's worth of plucking grass out of things. This is finally starting to take off. My tomatoes over here are still putting, but they're an odd color. So I'm wondering if I gave them too much fertilizer when I planted them. I gave them, what did I give them? Bone meal and blood meal and just a dash of all-purpose fertilizer. So I probably need to give them more nitrogen. I bet that will green them up. Strawberries are blooming. My borage plant and that's a catmint. I think I'm going to, one of the things I want to do in some of the empty spots in some of my towers, transplant some of this thyme. So, this thyme looks like a different kind of thyme. And there's some of that in here too, but maybe it's just because it's older. And I think that's oregano. These daisies are getting tall. And the potatoes are outdoing themselves. I wanted to plant beans along this. I don't know if they'll come up with the daisy or with the potatoes being so tall. I might plant them on the outside of this little trellis instead of the inside. We'll see. And I need to chop down all the grass right here. I have nothing of consequence, just empty pots and stuff in the little greenhouse at the moment. And you can see way over there, let me zoom you in a little bit. The grapes are greening up. The apples are done blooming, and see if I can focus in on that. You can see little bitsy apple. Not sure if I'm showing that one to you. Let's see if this one shows up better. Yeah, there we go. So we're gonna have a few apples. In the back there, I planted some asparagus, and I see one little spear is coming up. So hopefully, well, we won't be able to eat any of them next year, maybe not even the year after. But then eventually I'd like this whole area right here to be all fluffy ferns. Right behind my roses and my mint patch. And I planted some calendula in here, and it's like, I think I have too much. But there's the little miniature wild morning glory type stuff in there too that I need to try get on top of getting it pulled out, because it'll overtake everything. And this is starting to be ready to bloom. This is the first year I had this in one pot for what, 3 years? 2 maybe. So this year I dug it out, split it up, put it in 2 different locations here, and it's actually thriving. Never did get any blooms before, but it's thriving. The try to remember the name of it. Has 2 double letters in the middle. This is watermelon. This is artichoke in there. And some tulip bulbs that they never did bloom, but they came up nice foliage. And those die down a little more. I'll cut them down to the ground and they'll come up and give me good tulip next spring. My California poppies are bursting into bloom. Again, I have grass to pull. Over here, the calendula is becoming very thick. California poppies too. So, not too bad with the grass in here, but there is some I need to pull. So my plans for today. I have a meeting that I'm a Zoom master for in the middle of the day. I usually log in around 11:30. The meeting is from 12 to 1. But out here, I need to plant the rest of this corn. I believe this one is a basil. I need to plant it. And then I think these are big enough I can start putting some of them out. And there, I need to make sure it's got plenty of water. I planted sunflowers and zinnias. And was it zinnias? No, I think it was not zinnias. It was marigolds, sunflowers and marigolds in there. And nothing's poked up yet. And I have echinacea in here. And none of that's poked up yet either. So you can see the things that I need to do today. Well, I don't have to get it all done today, but where to start? I think I'll start by planting out my corn that I just showed you. And then the little starts, the ones that are ready enough. And then I think I'll go about getting rid of some of that grass. That's a multi-day project, getting rid of that grass. And it just comes back up again, so that's all summer long I have to work on getting rid of that grass. And I hope you're enjoying the clock. Let's see, what time is it? No, that one's a little fast. That one's a little fast. It's like 6 minutes fast to be precise. Okay. One of these days I need to make a video about all the clocks that I have in the house, and then maybe show you all the clocks that we have out in my husband's man cave. Oh, and I was going to tell you something special. You know how I've watched several of you who have put chandeliers in greenhouses or tool sheds? Laura from Garden Answers, who comes to mind, that has a chandelier in her tool shed and in her big glass greenhouse, the big expensive one. And her mom has a chandelier in her tool shed. Guess what we got? We got a chandelier, and guess where we put it? It's perfect. It's in my husband's man cave. It makes his man cave perfect. Gotta have just a little dash of elegance in a very masculine spot. And we like it. I'll post a picture of it here. Wasn't that beautiful? Well, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I got to get busy out there and do some of the stuff that I just told you I was going to do. Gardening is never, it's a little bit like dishes. It never ends. Dishes and laundry and gardening, constant. But I enjoy the gardening. The dishes and the laundry, meh. Well, may the good Lord richly bless you. May all your endeavors be as you wish them to be. May your garden be bountiful, plentiful, and may you always seek the truth. Darlene from Darlene's Garden, signing out. See you on my next video.